Hey, what's going on, guys? It's Joe from Gadgetry Tech, and today we're going to talk about the Gravastar Venus speaker. This crazy little cyborg-looking speaker is one of a few pretty cool and innovative designs from Gravastar, and they seem to have a really high customer satisfaction rating. So when I was first reached out to about this to possibly review it, I looked at it, I was like, dang, some of this stuff's pretty cool. So I understand this aesthetic isn't for everybody, but it just mixes it up. It's not a boring speaker. So with that being said, it sells for $89.99. That's the MSRP, and you can get it in a few different styles at this price point. Obviously, they have a larger, more expensive model as well. But as of right now, and this is June of 2022, there is a discount on the speaker, making it about $72-ish. It's like a 20% off discount. You can clip that on Amazon as well to take advantage of that price savings. So I'll have a link in the description below. It's a generic affiliate link. It helps support the channel. No special kickbacks or anything. So hopefully by the end of the review, you know if this is something that you're interested in or not. Either way, it's pretty cool. So let's start talking about it. So I actually want to start off by focusing on the unboxing experience, which I don't normally do with products. A lot of products, you cut the little film and you slide it out. It's in a piece of cardboard and you're starting to use it. This just kicks things off right off the bat in a positive way. You know, when you buy something for yourself that's $80 to $100 and you get something that makes you feel like it was a nice special investment, that's a win. And if you're looking to buy this as a gift for somebody, whether it be holidays or whatever the special occasion might be, you didn't just get them a Bluetooth speaker. You got them a really cool, unique Bluetooth speaker. Now, obviously, this aesthetic isn't for everybody, but I really want to commend them on nailing the unboxing experience because there's a few steps. You're sliding it out of a sleeve. You're lifting a really nice feeling lid that opens it up, and the graphics and design detail of the packaging. Remove the black cover that has your little manual and charge cable in it, and then you're presented with the speaker looking right at you. So I honestly, it's huge, and it makes it, again, make the whole purchase and first time use experience feel more special. Now, when you pick this up, I mean, this weighs 450 grams, and because it's basically, it feels like a giant chunk of metal, it's zinc alloy, so this has a very robust build quality. It feels like a metal ball. An indestructible metal ball. Like you could throw this through a window. Not that I'd recommend it, but it just feels super, super durable. And obviously there's different styles and stuff. It sits and has its own unique look to it, but nothing feels out of place or cheap. There's no weak points. The buttons have a nice feel to it. Everything just feels solid. You get this rubber squish top for your volume control. So I think it's actually built really well, and even the little protective grill, you know, it's just a little attention to detail that you get. Now on the back of the Venus, you actually have a passive radiator, this little thing that acts like a base extender. When the front driver is moving, you're going to have basically this moving in the opposite direction, and that's going to help control the power handling or the base extension on the front of the speaker. It's not active or anything, but it's pretty cool, and touching it and moving it around is not going to damage anything. Just don't push it really hard. So overall, again, it's kind of has that robust feel and uniqueness to it that you don't normally see. Now the driver on the front is a 1.75-inch driver, not a huge driver. It's rated for 10 watts though, so again, I think because of the radiator, the power handling is actually quite nice. Has a 1500 milliamp battery, which actually gives you 10 hours of battery life at 65% volume. I found that you could actually get past the 10 hours because you're not always playing it that loud, and then turning it off and on once in a while, the battery kind of chills a little bit. But realistically, if you crank it, you can still get through a good solid evening of loud listening on a single charge. So I think that's great. And then it uses a USB-C cable to charge it on the bottom. Now this does support Bluetooth 5.0, which means you can pair this with a second Venus speaker and have a stereo setup. I will talk about the sound quality in a minute, but having that flexibility is kind of nice because one may not always be enough. So I like that it's Bluetooth 5 for that reason. Now, if I had to nitpick anything with this, it's the button layout because it can be confusing. And if you have several people over for a party and you ask them to turn up the song, most people are going to see that plus sign and think that's the plus volume button, but it's not. That actually puts it in pairing mode, which instead of turning up the song and making it fun, you're actually putting it in pairing mode and making it go silent. And then this little dot is your power button, as I showed earlier. Now, the volume up, down are these little plus minus icons on the top. So once you get used to that, and it's like a rubber squish dome type button, it's not touch sensitive, which I like. I like having a tactile press. But once you get used to that, it's fine. I just wish it was at least maybe not use a plus symbol on the right side where people are used to pressing the plus symbol for volume. Again, that's just me being picky. Now, if you press and hold the plus or the volume up down buttons on the back at the same time, you can cycle through your RGB color. So I'm going to do that. So now I have that blue, the red, which has a little bit of a like a salmon orangey pink tinge to it, green, that purple color, pink, and then back to that whole Tron blue light cycle color. I love the blue because I love Tron. So you don't have a huge amount of colors to choose from, but I like that they give you some customization. And again, you don't usually see Bluetooth speakers that are designed like this that have that kind of color control. So that's pretty cool. And again, makes it more fun and not just a Bluetooth speaker. So let's talk about sound quality. And I'm going to start off by just playing a quick copyright-free YouTube track, because YouTube can be pretty mean if you play any music, even for 3 seconds. So I'm going to hit play just so you can hear, I guess, what this microphone makes it sound like, and however you're hearing it. Not too accurate, but it'll give you a ballpark. Then we'll talk about sound. All right, so when it comes to sound quality, I don't think this is, let's temper expectations. It's a sub-$100 Bluetooth speaker that has a lot of emphasis on build quality and style and uniqueness. So don't expect a hi-fi audiophile level of sound output. It's not going to do that. The bass it actually hits more of like a harder hitting bass, not really deep or rumbly. It doesn't have a lot of deep bass to it, which I don't expect. It's a 1.75 inch single driver, 10 watt. I mean, how much power can you really get? What I was really surprised about is that little passive radiator helping to keep the speaker from distorting at louder volumes. So it didn't sound much worse when I brought the speaker outside. And it doesn't sound bad inside either. It's just not to the level that some people are used to for higher end audio. So again, it really blew me away. When I put it outside, just that one speaker, I could be 30 feet away and crank it. And I was like, wow, this is actually pretty loud. And depending on the size of your yard, your neighbors would still hear it as well. So if you put this in stereo mode, two of these little guys can easily fill up a space without much issue. Now, it's not going to have thunderous bass behind that, but it still has decent enough quality where it doesn't sound like people are in a walkie-talkie. It's not messing up the sound per se. Now, part of the highs being somewhat compressed is because you're using Bluetooth and you're not using aptX HD or LDAC to connect to it, which is usually where your higher bitrate stuff comes in. This is not intended for that, so there's a little bit of compression, which means the highs don't sound as open. And then again, you have to consider it's one driver doing everything. So when you compare it to like an Anker Soundcore Boost or the JBL Flip 4, which are in a similar price range, those are going to sound a little bit better. They have more power handling. They're just a generic, nice quality sounding speaker. Nothing wrong with that. But with this, you're paying for the RGB, you're paying for the unique style. I wouldn't say you're paying for the unboxing experience, but just because those sound better at this price range doesn't mean that's the better speaker for everybody. I think this is still really fun to use, and it actually takes up less space than the other two speakers I mentioned as well. So it's pretty compact, making it easier to travel. So if you're concerned about in and out of a small bag, bringing it to the beach or, at your buddy's house or something, this is still easier to work with and it still sounds good. All right, guys, so that wraps up the review, and I hope you got what you needed out of this and I answered any questions you may have had. I think really at the end of the day, it just comes down to what's more important to you. Do you want something that gives you the best possible sound quality or power handling, regardless of what it looks like or whatever it may be? Or do you want something that brings some individuality to the mix or feels special or just has a cool aesthetic because it fits your decor or is going to get someone really excited if they saw something like this as a gift? I don't want to undersell that specialness that you get with a product like this. I typically like things that feel fresh and innovative and not cookie cutter. So I really love stuff like this because it kind of pushes the boundary past generic run-of-the-mill stuff. And it's not to knock any of those. There's some excellent sounding speakers out there and with good reliability and price points. So it's just a matter, again, what's more important to you. So with that being said, thank you so much for tuning in. And don't forget to like and subscribe because we have a lot of stuff coming out, both high-end audio, gaming, cool things like this, etc. So that being said, thank you as always, and I'll see you next time.